Hi there, welcome everybody to Matt Bajerski YouTube channel. Welcome to Facebook. Welcome to my crystals channel. It's a beautiful day today. We're talking Moldavite. There's so much bullshit out there. I have to start with Moldavite. More and more influencers who just taken a piece of Moldavite, watched a few people here and there, and then just spouted a load of garbage. I'm here to dispel some of those ridiculous notions. Also today, I want to share with you certain things that I've learned in 20 years of being a healer, a crystal healer. And Moldavite is, of course, one of the most worked with crystals in my life. So I've handled tens of thousands of Moldavites from the Czech Republic, Maliklum, Besenice, and various different types. And enjoyed working with them on my clients. Just so you know who I am, I'm a healer. I've been a healer for 2 decades, and I find crystals absolutely fascinating. The one and only crystal that I have never truly understood, and still to this day don't understand in full essence or its power, is Moldavite. Everything else, I've pretty much figured it out. So also you can see behind me, there's always Moldavites in my life. Instead of buying a car, I would rather spend it on Moldavites. So that's my commitment to Moldavite. And also I'm a proud at this moment owner, or you could say the holder of one of the most beautiful Moldavites in the world. It was named when I bought it the Flame of Bohemia. I'm going to show it you now. It's museum grade. It's a whopper of a size. And I've never come across anything as beautiful as this in my 20 years of working with it. So the reason why I've done that is just to show you that I'm not just somebody who spouts out Moldavite. I'm somebody who I believe has acquired hundreds of thousands of hours with Moldavite, and I understand it. I would say I could stand or sit next to anybody who's worked with Moldavite over the years and hold my conversation well with Moldavite. So that out of the way, let's begin. Moldavite talk, chat, here we go. Question 1, which was sent in by John, actually. John says, how does Moldavite alter our vibrational frequency, and what are the signs that this shift is taking place within us? Well, that's quite simple, really. Does it alter our frequency, our vibration? 100%. All you need to do is hold it or wear it, and you will figure it out pretty quick that the feelings, the emotions, the magic that appears in your life, the so-called Moldavite flush, but there's a lot more happening than just a flush, is changing the frequency and altering your energy to a new frequency and energy, which I believe is a heightened level of you. Basically, what it is it's bringing your true self out. It's bringing the power out, which was already inside. So in truth, it's a cleanser and clearer. It's a venter of all the trauma, all the lies, manipulations that you've been fed in your life. And it clears that away. Clears away pain and physical issues. It clears away deep traumas, blocks, any kind of issues that the body has. So that's how I feel. Secondly, the question is the signs, really. There's so many. Where do you want to start with the signs of Moldavite? So some of my clients will be so heavily blocked, I call it a wall around them. They've created a wall around them that much that nothing can penetrate through. So Moldavite is working instantly as soon as it's on you to penetrate through. It's like drilling in through till it gets to the core of who you are or your senses. So how quickly does that happen? Depending on what frequency you're vibrating on to begin with. As a healer and somebody who worked for 2 days in a beautiful Mind, Body and Spirit Festival in Marbella, the H10 Hotel, I'd just done roughly 22 sessions over the 2 days. So I was ready to hold a piece of Moldavite. The beautiful thing about it is that I had never been introduced to Moldavite before. And my first mentor put a piece of Moldavite into my hand, and I kid you not, I felt the energy that I was levitating. And I remember stood next to two people saying, "Did you just see that? Did you see what happened?" And they laughed. My mentor said, I knew it. I knew you would connect to Moldavite. From that day on, never looked back. And to this day, like I said, I've handled thousands of pieces. I've been through tremendous changes in my life with Moldavite, and I've seen miracles happen to clients, both mind, body, and spirit. Physically speaking, I've seen massive changes, massive healing from Moldavite. So to be able to say to you now, what are those signs? I would say checking in on yourself when wearing Moldavite is a good thing, because I think to begin with, if you check in on yourself as the change begins, first of all, you won't bring fear into this. As all these new so-called promoters of Moldavite, these influencers who are crying, who call it evil, they have no understanding on checking in on themselves. So what happens is, instead of checking in, they check out. Basically, it's the devil, it's you, everything's your problem, this is the issue, instead of checking in and seeing, why is these changes happening in me? What is Moldavite actually doing to me? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I, going through all of these so-called bad things, when in actual fact, what's happening is it's clearing away all the trauma, all the issues. And sometimes, you can go through this challenging moment where if you cut yourself and you've got dirt in there, a bit of alcohol rubbed onto there, you'll be screaming your head off. But because that alcohol from the medical industry tells you that, look, this is going to burn, but it's going to be a good burn. And when it burns, it's natural. It's how it should be. And once that burn goes, that means it's killed all the bacteria, all the dirt and the issue. So you won't infect. Now, if we could sit you down and you've never touched Moldavite before, and we say to you, look, Moldavite can do exactly what they say. It can burn a little bit. It can cause like you feeling a bit sick, or you get hot, or you feel weird. But this is a good thing, because this is like the alcohol. And once that's gone, once you realize that this is normal, I might fall over and trip up, or I might be a bit dizzy or lose my balance. It's not that. It's not the Moldavite. It's whatever's coming out of you. So you feel this way. So if we were able to share that with you before you started using Moldavite, then it might help a little bit. That said, I have noticed that many influencers who basically swear blind that Moldavite was evil and it did bad things, and all these bad things happened to them. I made it my purpose to check this out, because you know what? If this is true, I'm going to see where I went wrong, why this didn't happen to me. And up till this moment, every influencer that got 1 million views from saying bad things about Moldavite, you just need to look at their latest videos and you'll see a pattern of their behavior. And their behavior hasn't stopped. They look at blaming everybody. They're always crying wolf. They're always saying, and nothing changes. They're always dramatic drama queens. And you realize that a lot of this is either their personality, or they're trying to get likes, or they want to, shock you. So again, anybody who can discern these people will see that actually they are actually talking bullshit. So this is what I like to share. First of all, I like to clear this fear-based nonsense. Now, a lot of healers I noticed in the past would say, "Oh, you have to be careful. You have to do this. You have to be this." And then I realized, actually, you're a healer, but you're actually using drama in the same way as this podcaster is talking about Moldavite. You're actually saying all of these spooky, frightening things to customers because you want to grab them. So as a healer, real healers don't do that. Real healers shut their mouth and know that the work has been done. The work's done. You don't need to add anything to it. You don't need to sugarcoat it. You don't need to make it beautiful with lots of, oh, I saw these monsters around. I saw these evil people around you and I did this and that. Like, you don't need to do that. A real healer will just shut their mouth and know that when you walk out of that door, what you feel is better. And if you feel better, that's all that matters. No fear, no worry. So that's something you need to think about as well when healers who talk about Moldavite start telling you that you have to be careful, you have to be strong enough, you have to be more powerful, you don't touch Moldavite until you get to this level. All of that is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I've had children, I can reel off 100 children between the age of 8 years old and 20 who have had Moldavites from me, and it did not affect them. They had no understanding of spiritual work. They just wore it and loved it, and nothing ever happened. Absolute garbage when people say that. So it's got nothing to do with you have to be powerful, you have to be strong. It's got nothing to do with that. Nothing. It's nothing to do with that. It's to do with how you're feeling in yourself and how you're coping with your own life and how you cope with anything that happens in your life. So it doesn't matter what crystal you're wearing. You could say the same thing about anything. How you're feeling in your life. If you're feeling bad, who are you going to blame? What are you going to blame? Again, it's always outside. We're always blaming outside instead of looking in. So moving on, because I've spoke long enough about that. It was a great question, by the way. Second question here. Is Moldavite a catalyst for spiritual awakening, or does it amplify the awakening already underway? So let me just read that one again. That's from Stan. Okay, cheers, Stan. Is Moldavite a catalyst for spiritual awakening? I think within yourself, once the cleansing and clearing of Moldavite takes place, then you enhance as a being. Your physical body becomes the vessel that it was meant to be for your spirit that lies within this body. So the body isn't you, the spirit inside you is you. So however this body's feeling, whether it's traumatized, whether it has blocks, whether it's been abused, whatever that may be, all of these things cause issues. So if you're watching things you don't like every day, then your eyes are going to start to get tired. And if they get tired, it's connected to the senses of your third eye. So what you see is relevant to how you see things in a spiritual manner. If Moldavite is helping clear that trauma away, then you'll be able to see more clearly, both physically and spiritually. So, or does it amplify the awakening already underway? All the above, of course. It's bound to amplify your awakening, and it does. Without a doubt, it amplifies because you become more sensitive after clearing away. That sensitivity then makes you see things, feel things, hear things, bring things in, channel things, because you're more of a clear vessel. So absolutely 100%. Can Moldavite, this is from Derek. There's a lot of men asking questions today. That's great. Derek says, can Moldavite accelerate the breaking down of ego structure? Yes, I do wholeheartedly believe it certainly does. Unfortunately, for only those who are willing to see it that way. Most people, again, will jump outside and blame Moldavite. So if you're an honest person and you're not frightened of looking at yourself, which most people are frightened of the truth. Don't tell me the truth. Don't tell me what I'm like. Don't tell me what I'm like. Okay. So if you're strong enough in that way to look at things, then, you will see clearly. That is absolutely correct. If so, how can we navigate the intensity that follows? You're not meant to. For me, the intensity of Moldavite is simply a passing of energy that is clearing a way for your body to sit in a balanced state. Therefore, some people will say Moldavite took ages for it to work, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, Mark, guess what? And I'm going, yeah, I know. Its time comes when its time comes. Some people say I never felt anything, and those that never felt anything, you know, it is sometimes very, very sensitive. Sometimes we don't see it. I mean, there's many a times I'll go, oh, you've changed, and you'll go, really? Have I? Why? You look different from last time I saw you. And then I'll realize that I gifted them a Moldavite, and I'll go, wow, you have changed. I can feel it and see it. And they didn't even see it themselves. So a lot of the times we don't see the change because we're too busy outside. Again, we need to look inside. We need to meditate with it. And that makes a massive difference. Does Moldavite choose its wearer? Yes, it does. Basically, what happens is when you are ready, it's like when the pupil is ready, the teacher appears. So if you're gifted a Moldavite, which I was, I didn't ask for it, but apparently I was ready for it. So there you go. It was given to me. So it comes to you. So you might be new to this. You might be on here and you've never seen any of my videos. You know nothing about me. You don't know whether I'm nice. Most people will judge me instantly. There's no problem. I understand that. I'm judged every day, and we judge every day. The internet now is basically one judgment of everything and everybody. So you're watching this trying to figure out, is he genuine? Is he bullshit? Is he just a salesman? Is he this? Is he that? Is he a really healer? You're going to say all of these things, and you're going to come to a conclusion when you're either gone now, or you might be staying, or I like this guy. I like what he's saying, so I'm listening. So the fact that you're working on that energy, then if you are, it's not really because of me, but it's because of what I'm saying. It's not my words. It's what's just coming out. So I'm not the message. I'm the messenger of whatever's happening now. You're brought here by what I believe, the spirit world, God, whatever you want to call it, source, but it brings you to a certain place like, okay, I think I might buy a piece of this Moldavite and give it a try. So we are drawn out of all the videos in the world, out of all the crystals in the world, you're drawn to this video now, or you're drawn to Moldavite somewhere else, or you might find a piece of Moldavite in a crystal shop and just be drawn to it. There is no doubt that when you are ready, Moldavite will appear. That is a fact, but that is a fact for everything. It's not just Moldavite. Everything is that way. You will meet a healer when you're meant to meet a healer. You will meet a certain person to help you along your journey when you're meant to meet them, and so on. It's called the flow. So, you know, that said, that has meaning to everything in life. So that's not a big issue with Moldavite as far as I'm concerned. Moldavite, does Moldavite choose its wearer? Okay, and how can we tell if we are truly ready to work with its energy? Well, you've answered your own question. If it's chosen you and you're seeing Moldavite, out of the how many billion of people in this world don't even know what Moldavite is, has no clue, even the people who live in Bajerski. Can you imagine that? I'm like scratching my head. I'm saying, sorry, do you know anybody who sells Moldavite here? And they look at me and said, what's Moldavite? Like, are you serious? We're in Bajerski. It's the gem of Moldavite. No, I don't know what you're talking about. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're ready, it will be shown to you. And the fact that you're asking me that question is because you're ready for it. So that would be my answer. What does Moldavite reveal to us about the nature of time, consciousness, and multi-dimensional reality? So I'm not too much into multi-dimensional reality because that's too much, goes beyond my thoughts. I'm just a simple lad who works with people and sees what he sees when working with energies. What I can tell you, though, to that lovely question, is that I believe Moldavite is part of a planet. So the reason why, I'll explain. So it came to this world, they say 15 million years ago. I personally don't believe that, because I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I don't believe anything science or anything these people say at all. I just think it was just put there as a guess. I believe it came here a lot sooner than that. And when I meditate, when I connect to the energy of Moldavite, it never, ever confirms a 15 million years ago. I think it was a lot sooner than that. And in the frequency of this little piece, the memory that lies within Moldavite, which is mixed with Mother Earth now, there is a memory in there that if you attune to it, if you somehow are lucky enough to be given these images or this almost like video of what Moldavite is, I came to the conclusion, not just me, but other people said the same as me when having healing. And I would write this down, that they found themselves on another world where they were floating. There was no footsteps. It was a world where you could communicate without speaking. It was a world of beauty, almost like the spirit world. And it was a world where it was far more advanced. And this world exploded. It blew up. I don't know why, but it was the end of the world there. And within that memory of crystal that landed here, part of it, we can attune to that very same frequency and the magic and the extraterrestrial energy that planet was. So I sometimes feel that planet. I sometimes feel the memory of it. And I feel ecstatic sometimes, euphoria. I feel amazing. I feel protected. And maybe the fact that I felt like I was elevating might have been part of that memory. So there's so many amazing things about Moldavite. Now, I want to just sidetrack to talk about this. Somebody said, what is Moldavite communication, and what is the, what does that say? What is the communication from our mouth? So basically, I think what is that Geraldine says, basically what she's saying is she's heard there's Moldavite language. And that is something that I've seen and documented and found fascinating. So the beginning of working as a crystal healer with clients with Moldavite is that you would put predominantly on the chest, on the throat, and on the third eye. So what happens is that initially the healing begins, and then within 30 minutes, you start to notice a heavy breathing. So it's and they're lying down, and you're seeing this breath. And sometimes you see it without Moldavite. I get that, but people don't start speaking without that Moldavite. That breath suddenly stops and turns into a conversation. They're fast asleep, and now they're talking. There's been many a times I've bent down to try and listen to the conversation, hoping that the client won't wake up. Because like if they wake up and my head's next to the ear, because when they're speaking, it's not like I'm speaking to you. It's something that I believe it's the Moldavite language from where they came from, in the sense of they're connecting to what they thought was, interpreting it into words. So you hear, and then you're trying to speak the words that you hear. So when I said that there was another world and it was all communication, well, you're still hearing that communication, but now you can verbalize it. And I'm verbalizing the communication that they're hearing of Moldavite. What's it saying? What are you saying? And I'm trying to hear. So back then, it wasn't very easy on the internet to, hear people, find people talking in, Jesuits and whatever it may be. But I tried to find something similar in language, an old text, or somebody talking in Hebrew and so on. Nothing ever came close. If you ask me what it sounds like now, I don't know anything that comes close to it. And it's not like light language. So please don't bring light language into this. It's got nothing to do with it. It's a language of its own, but it's fascinating. So I started writing this down. And I remember I was at home one night when I was married to Susie, and I got really excited because on YouTube, I typed in trying to find anybody else who'd ever heard of this language, anybody else experienced it. And I couldn't for ages and ages. I'm like, I can't be the only one. There must be more healers. And then, like out of the blue, I came across, maybe a year later, this guy. And I don't know who he is to this day, but he's a healer. I can't remember him. I can't remember what he does. If it springs back to mind, I'll let you know. But anyway, he was on an interview in America, and he's an American healer. And he started talking about his past. And I'm like, are you stealing everything that I've said? Because everything that you're saying is exactly what I've said. And I used to do videos back then. So like, this guy's either copying everything, and a lot of people do copy my work. Like, this guy's copying my work. He's saying everything that I've said. But I realized very soon he wasn't copying. He was genuine. And he was word for word practically saying what I've said over the years. And that is that he became a healer. People gifted him crystals. He started working with crystals, and then somebody gifted him a Moldavite. He put the Moldavite on the client, and all of a sudden, I don't think he talked about the people breathing heavy, but I think he talked that he could hear people talking, and he was trying to listen to the conversation. And I am running around my room, jumping, saying, yes, I'm not crazy. And it was a little bit like being on Sheep Farm podcast with Jerry Mazinski. Like, Jerry said, oh, by the way, if you want to clear entities, bad energies, try Gregorian chants. And of course, you all know, for many years before I even met him, I didn't even know who he was, but he's using Gregorian chants. And obviously, if you go on my website, you can see that all my 20 years of going into properties, clearing very, very demonic dark energies, I would use Gregorian chant. So I got excited when this guy was talking about Moldavite. So I know there is two. I don't know anybody else, but I know two back in 2 decades ago that were saying this. So that to me is fascinating. Okay. Somebody's asked for the cosmic origin of Moldavite. I think I've already explained that, where I think Moldavite came from. How does Moldavite serve as a bridge between Earth's consciousness and cosmic intelligence? So to me, we talk about extraterrestrial in a way of that we don't really know what's going on up there. But when we work with Moldavite, it gives us a glimpse every now and again of what is it like to be on another planet, living that earthly life, and what kind of gifts did they hold, and what did it do? What did that planet actually do so that it's on us now and we're feeling that energetic frequency of that planet? I believe that is the actual cosmic connection. We're feeling it when we wear it. We are living it when we wear it. And I think it's beautiful. So I do believe the intelligence lies within the memory. Are there any specific star systems or galactic energies that Moldavite is connected to, as Sirius and other places? I don't know. Is there any reason Moldavite appeared on Earth when it did? I don't know. And could its presence be part of the greater evolutionary plane of humanity? Well, I don't think so, because I don't think many people know about it and even understand it and wear it or feel it from the Czech Republic. It landed apparently in 2 different places in Germany. I've been to both places where the craters are, but then from there it erupted into the little tiny pieces that turned to glass and flew in the air, and all consequently landed in the Czech Republic. I believe it also landed somewhere else and people haven't found it yet. That's my feeling about that, but that's going to be in my book, and we went on a mission to find it, so it's really interesting. Can Moldavite assist in remembering past lives? 100% it does, particularly those connected to the other planets or dimensions. I would say a resounding yes. Okay. What type of emotional or karmic wounds respond most powerfully to Moldavite energy? It's a great question. There's so many things I've seen happen to clients on that level. It can't be set in stone, because it depends on each spirit and body to what you're experiencing. I have seen some amazing things happen, and I have heard some amazing out of this world things that are said after people have woken up from a Moldavite healing session. So like clearing of past emotion of what you've been through, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or even 10 times the past lives. I've seen things cleared from people that didn't even know they had past lives. So they will wake up saying, I saw myself as a priest, or I saw myself as a butcher. I saw myself as a cleaner. I saw myself as a sailor. Never really got, I saw myself as Cleopatra. No. None of that stuff. None of that fluffy stuff. This is real life stuff. Really powerful. Does Moldavite clear or amplify energy centers? Absolutely, 100%. All the energy centers and all the points. People often say, and they spout the same nonsense all the time, oh, it opened my third eye. Actually, it opens these. This is one of the first places Moldavite opens. That's why it's the best crystal for healers, because it opens this gateway, this portal, these points. It's incredible. It also opens these points here. That's why you get a headache so much. You get such a headache. It's opening this here. They're called temples. They're clearing your temples. They're awakening. They're cleansing. They're clearing out all the crap from the temples. So yeah, there's a line. If you're a healer, you might understand this. When you're healing, normally your eyes are closed. When your eyes are closed, you're doing the healing work. Some people have said to me, and I know this to be true, that they see a bright staff, like a white staff, a long stick. That happens with Moldavite. It's incredible. And what that people say, what is it? I said, the closest thing that I could ever think it could be is that not only are you aligning, but your whole core has been cleansed and being strengthened and cleaned. So this white light is a representation of our core, the connection to Mother Earth and to the spirit world. Fantastic. Fantastic. Are there any spiritual risks of shadow aspects of working with Moldavite too soon or without preparation? None at all. Because preparation or not preparation, as far as I'm concerned, it's more to do with you as a human being. So you'll say to me, well, that's preparation. Well, you should know that. Yeah. All of that is true. But I've also given crystals to people who didn't even know what Moldavite is and got on with their life and were happy ever after. So, and I've given tons away, as I will today. I'm going to give those that are watching today, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 petites. I mean, they're only petites, but at least you know the genuine Moldavites. I took them to ballet, got them mounted, so they're genuine. So they're going to come to you today. I'm going to take your names down. So anyway, thanks for listening. But yeah, this is a difficult one, because by me saying to you, oh yeah, you have to prepare yourself, you're now going to bring fear into it. That's not true, because whatever you're going through, you need to be going through. So you've always heard me saying, just let it take its course. Best advice that I could give anybody working with Moldavite, genuine Moldavite, because be aware, guys, there's at least 60% of fake Moldavite out there being sold by numpties on the internet. So, oh, my Moldavite don't work. Well, I ain't going to send you a message saying that if that's Moldavite, my left foot is a gherkin. Sorry, mate. You know, you're not going to buy a piece of Moldavite at that price for that size. Not a chance. So you've just bought a fake piece of Moldavite from China. And I've just been told by a dear friend of mine that now China is making more fake Moldavite than any other fake crystal. Oh, I wonder why. So you are getting literally in stores all over the place, they're saying it's Moldavite and it's not. I'm sorry, but you need to go to the Czech Republic. You need to have 100% people who you 100% trust. You are better going there direct, or whoever is getting them, you better make sure that this ain't off Etsy, eBay, and all the rest of these places, because you don't know what you're buying. I've told you this before. Even I got my pants pulled down by one of these guys who lived, and I thought, this doesn't feel right. And he'd been selling to me for ages. And I'm like, I sent him a message. I'm like, and I know the feeling of Moldavite. I'm not bragging, but I know what it feels like. Not the color, the touch. I just need to feel it and know. That's my first port of call. I'll feel it. If I don't get anything from a piece of Moldavite, I won't buy it, even if it's in the Czech Republic. I don't know why. It's the way I work. And I'll touch each piece of Moldavite and feel it. If I get some kind of feeling from it instantly, that's Moldavite. And I felt these. They were like, I spent a lot of money with him. And then I started asking him questions, and then he disappeared. And I realized that now he wasn't selling Moldavite because he couldn't get hold of it anymore, because we went through a time where everybody wanted it. So he wasn't being able to get it anymore. So he thought he'd be clever, and he bought from China, and you pay nothing for it. It's pence, and you get tons of it. Get tons of it. And he sold me this shit. And so you have to be careful. Even people kind of makes sense really. If you're in a bad place, if you're in a really bad place and you're living in the Czech Republic and you've got no money to buy it anymore because something's happened and you've had to spend all that money on whatever, a new car or something, and you haven't got any money to buy it, you can see the temptation. Because I've been to shows and seen people who are Chinese walking around the shows trying to sell, I should have filmed it, trying to sell Moldavite to Moldavite dealers. And the guys just laugh. The Moldavite dealers from Czech Republic laugh and just throw it back at them. So, you've got to be careful. The people are cheeky out there. People don't care. People are rip-off merchants. They couldn't give a shit whether you bought a piece of fake Moldavite or not. They couldn't give a shit. They just open another website and start again. They don't care. So be smart and make sure that if you are buying off the internet, make sure you look and see how long they've been. If they've not been going for a minimum of 5 to 10 years, don't touch them. Don't go near them. But just be careful. The best place is going to Czech Republic yourself. And that's what I do. I go to the Czech Republic minimum now twice a year. I And I don't tell people when I'm going anymore. I've stopped that because everybody tries to wind me up when I'm over there as well, because there's too many idiots there as well. So you have to be careful who you're buying from as well. So how does Moldavite enhance our intuition ability of psychic perception? It does it by way of cleansing, clearing, and cleaning the vessel. It heightens the frequency of your energy, so then you vibrate at the frequency of psychic. You vibrate at a different frequency. I'll give you a great idea, a great I guess example I want to mean. So when I'm sat here and I've got my cards, I've got like, I'll take my cards, and let's say I've got a very important, it might be a question. It might be a life path decision. I'll take my Moldavite and I'll hold it in my hand and I'll just do some breathing work to start with. I'll turn a card over. So I'll do it for you now. I'll do it for you now. So I have got an important decision to make. And the intention is there. I'm holding the Moldavite. I'm tuning into the frequency of Moldavite. I'm heightening the energy. My chest is now beating like mad. It feels like I need to breathe. So if I do that a lot, it's because Moldavite is working. That's a good sign for me. It might not be for you, but it is for me. I know when my chest starts to implode, that Moldavite is working for me. So it's now changing. It's now healing. The reason why I feel like this, and you're thinking, oh, it's dangerous. No. The breath of life is everything. The breath of life. If a crystal makes you want to breathe deeply, it means that it's working and it's showing you, telling you this is the key. That's why you'll see shamans making you breathe heavily. That's why breath work is so important. That's why when you do your healing work, I tell you, whisper in your ear, breathe. If you know me, you'll know. If you've been here over the years, you'll know I come up to you and go, breathe, when you're working with clients. So that's how I see it working for me. So I've got a question right now, and that question is already out there. They already know. That intention's already out there. So do I need to give that intention? No, it's just basically for me that. But they already know what question I'm asking, or this universe, it knows. So I'm going to ask. And so it tells me, and I can feel this as well, this is all to do with the change of mind. This is all to do with the mind. That's the wands. And I'm asking for help, and I need it from spirit. So I'm getting the wand is the mind. I'm asking for help is the hand. And the answer is spirit inside me. So I get my answer very quickly with Moldavite. I can literally go into that same state. Then if I haven't got it, I cleanse the room. I cleanse myself. I put all the oils on. I do everything that I need to do, and then I'll do it. Because to get to that state, I need to go through all of that. Whereas Moldavite shifts you straight into that state. That's why it's good to wear it. And I suggest wearing it all the time. All right, that's enough of your questions on here. I'm going to let you ask away some questions here if you've got any. So fire away if you've got a question now. Just try and keep it short if you can. My reading is crap. Mark, do you know Dan Winter? No, he's an electrical engineer. The real deal, I'm sure he is. He sells healing devices, etc., ET, spiritual components. No, I don't. Sorry. I just work with crystals, not with devices, but good luck to him. I'm sure they work. Tesla, all of them have fantastic devices. Can you wear Moldavite all the time? I do. And I've been wearing Moldavite for 20 years. Sometimes I wear Moldavite for over a year, every day, all the time. In my, when I first was introduced to Moldavite, I didn't take it off. Never. I just wore it all the time, and I just couldn't get enough. I was buying so much Moldavite and working with it, and I was so lucky up to this day. Imagine being the keeper of this. I mean, being the keeper of these behind me, being the keeper of these at the moment, having been blessed to be able to work with each one of these Bessanits pieces. They're just absolutely divine. I get to be able to be the holder of more crystals than Moldavites than I could ever imagine in my life. And then they go to you after I've worked with them. It's beautiful. I would suggest wearing Moldavite all the time. That would be my suggestion. I've never heard of anybody dying from Moldavite. The most powerful thing that I've ever seen with Moldavite is those that rung me and said, Mark, since I put this Moldavite, really strange things are happening. I'm a little bit frightened. And I've said, well, you've got two choices. You can either take it off and put it back on again when you want, or you can get on that roller coaster and ride with it and see what happens. If you're asking me, I would see what happens. There were many a times that I started crying with a piece of Moldavite, really heavily crying bad, like not knowing why. And I could have taken it off or taken it out of my hands and said, I don't want to deal with this. But I didn't. I knew inside me that it was like alcohol burning something that needed to be burned away. And after an hour of crying, it was like I became somebody different. I wasn't reacting in the same way anymore. Things that used to bother me in the past don't bother me anymore. So I can only conclude that it heals trauma. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, Holy Grail Stone. It absolutely does both. People have always said to me, you know, you take off, and I'm like, I've been healing people in here and in Tickled Pink, where I had my other place, I've been healing people in a room, and I was grounded, and I was on the 4th floor because there were so many steps to, and then I was up, like I'm at the highest, and I feel grounded when working with Moldavite. I feel really grounded with it. I always feel grounded with Moldavite. And yet when I start certain work like absent healing, I can go straight out and into that energy and through the screen and into your room and work with you and then come back again. And it's so easy when I'm wearing Moldavite. What I used to do is I found that having 3 crystals that I worked with predominantly through my healing career were the ones that seemed to work the best. And the one thing that I noticed is residue. Residue of Moldavite is very, very normal. And most people don't even understand that. They feel it, but they don't understand it. So what happens is they'll get upset. Right, why are you upset? Because of Moldavite. But why were you upset? Because I felt something. What did you feel? I felt like I'm a failure and I'm lonely. So could it be that whatever Moldavite was doing was, you think, was enhancing that feeling, so you felt it? I believe that wasn't happening because I'm watching you and I'm seeing the healing taking place in your heart, and there's a residue that comes out. And as it comes out, it hits your mind or hits around here or hits your body or your aura field, and your aura or your mind is trying to figure out what that energy is giving off. What is it? What's giving off you? What is that? Oh, I feel bad. Right. That's because it's coming out and clearing. So then when I realized that, whoa, I'm working with Tektite a lot, and I'm sticking Tektite by the heart. Now they're not getting that same feeling. Why? Because Tektite, black Tektite from whether it be Thailand or Vietnam, was absorbing it. So, wow, this is really working well together. And then I had another crystal that amplified the energy of any crystal it was with. So the amplification even more became more intense, which was called Herkimer diamond, not from India, not from anywhere else, but from the Ace of Mines, and that's New York. So I put all them 3 crystals together around my neck, and for 7 years, I would use these 3 crystals more than any 3 crystals ever. Until the day came when I thought, why don't I put these 3 crystals in a... I was able to do it now because I started, more and more people wanted these crystals off me. So I went to Bali and met some beautiful Balinese jewelry makers. And I gave them these 3 crystals. Nice big piece of Moldavite, was probably about that big enough. And a nice piece of Herkimer diamond, and a long or a teardrop piece of black tektite. I said, can you put them together? Once that was made, something was born. And just so you know, nobody that I ever spoken to ever came up with this. And give me a second. Who created the Moldavite trio? Even this stupid search engine knows that. So when I created that years ago, it just blew up, and everybody wanted to wear it, and everybody was talking about it. I get people from every walk of life. I had doctors, I had scientists, I had actresses, I had singers, I had mums and dads, grandmas, I had guys wearing it and saying, I don't take it off. I never take it off. I saw a girl who was like pretty famous. I don't really know her that well, but she's on so many films. She was doing an interview and she had it on. And last week she posted it. And then I think her sister posted as well that they never take it off. Why don't you take it off? There's got to be something that I know I've sold approximately maybe 20,000 of trios, maybe more, maybe 30 or 40,000 trios. Why is it that people after 10 years come back to me and say, I still wear it, Mark. I don't take it off. It's nothing to do with me. It's to do with what I learned from the thousands of crystals that I worked with in a room for 2 decades on clients. Which were the crystals that had the most profound effect on changing a client from deep sadness, from trauma, from grief, from blindness, from hurt, from real bad abuse? Why is it that so many people wear it? Because they feel protected. There is something about Moldavite trio that is, I believe, the most powerful 3 crystals together. And obviously it's going to be Moldavite. Nothing comes close. You can send what you want to me. And a guy sent me a message telling me about this crystal. And then I realized, I started doing some research about it because he was putting it all over my walls. And when somebody does that, I have to think, why are you doing that? This is suspect. I don't go around putting things on people's walls. Why are you doing that? And it didn't take long for me to find out that he's connected to the very mine. And he was almost like an agent for the mine. So he's trying to sell the mine by bullshitting, saying that his crystals are there, that clear demonic energies. Absolute bullshit. No, it doesn't, mate. No, it doesn't. But I couldn't even bother. Just delete. There's so much bullshit out there now. It's unreal. What you should be listening to is somebody who's a genuine healer who's been doing it for at least 10 years, not 6 months, 10, 20 years. Now I'm listening to you because you're not somebody who's just saying it and actually you don't do that at all. Full of shit. Oh, I'm a healer. No, you're not a healer. You say you're a healer, but actually now I've asked about you and looked, you're not healing. When was the last time you healed anybody? Oh, well, it's been a while. I haven't. Well, so you're not a healer. A healer is full time. So we have to be careful who we're listening to, guys. If you're listening to podcasters who are just fame-ridden addicts, not good. If you're listening to TikTokers who are deeply mentally messed up, it's not who you should be listening to. Listen to people that you trust. If I want to listen to anything to do with religion, guess who I look to? I look to those who studied religion. Jordan Maxwell. Whatever subject I'm trying to study, I'm looking for somebody who spent their life studying it. I've studied Moldavite. I've studied it. I've handled it every day. I see consequences. I see the miracles. I see the healing. I see the cleansing. I see the purging. I see the connection. I see the mysticism in Moldavite. That's why I love it. And you know, the hardest thing for me is to finish off writing the book called The Power of Moldavite. You know what, guys? Right now, there's so much manipulation out there because of AI. You could literally now go to AI, ChatGPT, and say, write me 500 pages about Moldavite, and you can have it in a matter of seconds. Be careful what you're reading and who you're listening to, because now enter into the world of fake dark ages AI. Have a great day. I hope that this serves you well. And today I'm going to offer and send to you, I know they're only small, but it doesn't matter. I had little pieces that I've worked with that blew me away. So these are genuine Moldavites. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here goes, randomly, 7. Trees, if you're listening to me, I want to gift you a Moldavite. Go to info@markbajerski.com and say that Mark has gifted me a Moldavite petite. Okay. Seb Rod, please do the same thing. Guardio, please do the same thing. Mystic Artist, please do the same thing. Jeneki Jabba, please do the same thing. Paulina, please do the same thing. And Andre Rupert Holmes, please do the same thing. All right, guys, from my heart to yours, have a beautiful day, and thank you with all my heart for trusting in my family-run business for 2 decades called markbajerski.com. Thank you for trusting in my incense oils and all the 15,000 crystals and 1,000 Moldavites, which are genuine on markbajerski.com. I hope I answered some of your questions with Moldavite. And please, please do not be frightened, because fear will always bring negativity into your life. Trust it, love it, and believe it. Take care. Bye for now. Love you all. Bye. Thank you.